everyone. Good evening, everyone. Can I have everybody's attention? Hi, my name is Maytel, and I'm Adina's younger sister. I would like to welcome you all tonight to this very special occasion. Without further ado, I would like to call upon the Bar Mitzvah girl, Adina, to say a few words.
Honored rabbis, dear family, and friends, I would like to thank you all for coming tonight and sharing with me in my simcha. To my siblings, Maytel, Dovie, and Lily. I really couldn't have asked for siblings better than you. Even though sometimes we bicker, we all love each other very much, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without any of you guys. To my Sava, Savta, Bubby, and Zadie, I'm very lucky to have all four of my grandparents here with me today. I want to thank you all not only for helping with the bat mitzvah, but for always being there for me. Each one of you has inspired me to become the best person I can be in a different way. I'd like to give a special thank you to my Uncle Yoni, cousins Adin and Maor, and my good friend Geffen, who all came from Israel just for my bat mitzvah. You have all truly enhanced this simcha for our whole family. Thanks as well to our event coordinators, Florence and Arit, for all their hard work bringing this evening together. Lastly, I'd like to thank my parents. I'm extremely lucky to have parents that support me in almost everything I do. Daddy, over the course of the year, you have been teaching me about my great-grandparents and our Jewish history. So number one, thank you for taking the extra time out to help me, but I also want to thank you for always being there for me. Even though you work a lot now, you always find the extra time to spend with me and my siblings. And Mommy, I don't even know where to start. You're my hero, role model, and a true Eshet Chayil.
She's everybody's hero!
Thank you, Uncle Yoni. You planned this whole bar mitzvah for me, and I can't thank you enough. I see you do so much chesed in our school and community, and I wish to follow in your footsteps. It meant so much to me that this year we took a whole year to do a chesed project together, and we gave food to the needy each week through Bikur Kolim. So thank you for being the person you are, a great mother. I was born on Lamed Tishrei, the 30th day of the month of Tishrei, a few days after Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah is the celebration dedicated to both completing the yearly cycle of public Torah reading and starting it again. By reading the last portion of the Torah and proceeding immediately to the first paragraph of Bereshit, we are demonstrating that the Torah and laws and lifestyle guidelines we derive from are a continuous circle and never end. This concept of Jewish continuity is very fitting at this pivotal moment in my life, when my becoming a bat mitzvah marked a new phase in my life, where I begin to bear my own responsibility for fulfilling the mitzvah of the Torah and living my life as an observant Jew. Now, rather than focusing on learning one specific halakha, my parents have really used this past year to open my eyes to the important role I will now play in the continuity of Jewish life. I now understand that it is always dependent on the next generation to take responsibility to preserve what the previous generation passes on. Over the past few months, my father and I embarked on a journey to map out the lives of my great-grandparents, some of whom were already living in Toronto before World War II, others who were displaced and managed to survive the Holocaust and ultimately reached safe havens in Canada and Israel. I urge you to please take a few moments during the evening to look at the PowerPoint at the small TV screen near the entrance, which visually maps out the paths taken by my grandparents not too long ago. I realize now that most of my great-grandparents do not experience the same stability growing up as most of us in this room have been blessed with. I was lucky enough to meet all four of my great-grandmothers, but at the time, I was too young to appreciate and understand the hardships they went through and the sacrifices they made to allow me to be here tonight. Although I never got to hear the stories of their lives from them directly, I recently got to hear tape recordings of my bubby's father, Moshe Rosen, giving his own account on surviving numerous German labor camps, and after the war, looking for tefillin and actually building a sukkah in Germany in 1946. I've heard stories of my stepdad's fathers taking the lives of German soldiers to save his own, and arriving in Israel illegally under the British rule. I've seen pictures and travel documents of my Zaydis' parents as they made their way throughout Europe, narrowly avoiding capture by the Germans. I often drive by the Holy Blossom Shul here in Toronto, which my Sabba's grandparents were founding members of in the late 1800s. And each week I watch my mother light candlesticks which traveled from Europe with my Sabba's grandparents to Israel on the 1947 Exodus boat. Driving these points home even more was the fact that this past week was Holocaust Education Week, and my mom and I attended a lecture by Rabbi Tal about the importance of remembering. Holocaust Education Week actually ends today on the anniversary of Kristallnacht, which was a turning point in Jewish history. The pogroms mark a rise of Nazi anti-Jewish policy that will culminate in the Holocaust, which changed the course of my family history forever. The theme of fire and light was also very central to this evening because of my middle name, Leora. One of the major uses of a flame in Judaism is to remember not just my great-grandparents, but I am the namesake of a very special individual, my uncle Adi Zal, who also, in the face of life-threatening challenges, never lost faith in Hashem. In conclusion, as I embark on my journey through adulthood, I will take these very important life lessons to heart and carry them with me through everything I do. Thank you. I would now like to call upon the Morad Asra of our shul, Rabbi Korobkin, to give us a Dvar Torah and then lead us in a very special havdallah ceremony.
Adina, thank you. Mazal tov to the entire Weitzner and Stanley families, to the bubbies and the Zaydis, to the Sabbas and the Savtas, to mom and dad. Adina, when your mother asked if I could participate in your bat mitzvah, I said, what a question, it's an honor. I had the honor of having you, of being a part of the bat mitzvah program last year, and you displayed such a poise, such an intelligence, such an ability to really create a presence for yourself. And we know that that's going to take you to tremendous places in your life as a leader of the Jewish people. And you mentioned today, just now, talking about Holocaust Education Week and your family background. And it made me think about the importance of the Jewish woman and the importance of Shabbos and how much of a role, Adina, that you're going to play in making sure that the Jewish people have a history that moves forward from this day. I'm going to ask Yehoshua and Kobe to give us some accompaniment. We need a few lai-lais before we get... Is that where we are? I need a few lai-lais. La 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 ya la ya la ya la ya la. Tiri-da ya ba ya ba ya ba 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 ya ba. Tiri-da ya da ya da ya da ya ya ba ya ba ya ba ya ba ya ba ya ba. Hi, hi, everyone. Hi, la la, ya la, ya la, ya la, ya la. I can't hear you. Hi, la la, ya la, ya la. stand next to me. Adina, I want to tell you a story. This is a true story. Adina, I know this is a true story because I spoke to the woman who it happened to. It was in her house when she was celebrating a bat mitzvah a number of years ago. It was a time back in the 1970s. It was a groovy, crazy time. It was a time when people like me were just starting to have their bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. And on a place very, very far away, a place called Santa Barbara, California. It's a beautiful place. It's the closest place to Gan Eden in North America.
It is.
And there's a small Jewish community in Santa Barbara, California, a very small community. And back in the 1970s, there was a very great tzaddik. His name was Reb Simcha Wasserman. He was the son of Reb Elchanan Wasserman, the great Rosh Yeshiva, who was killed in the Shoah. And Reb Simcha and his Rebbetzin didn't have any children. So they dedicated their lives to going to different Jewish communities and spreading the love of Yiddishkeit and spreading a light of Torah wherever they went. And Reb Simcha made it his project to travel up and down the coast of California to different Jewish communities, north of LA, south of LA, San Francisco, the Bay Area, and those of you who know Santa Barbara, it's about 2 hours north of LA. And Reb Simcha had made some friends in the Santa Barbara Jewish community. They weren't so religious, they weren't terribly religious, but they were on their way to becoming very committed Jews. And so one day, it was time for the bat mitzvah of a very special girl, just like you, Adina. And they invited Reb Simcha to come for Shabbos, to participate in their daughter's bat mitzvah. And this was a time before they even had a mishaberach for a bat mitzvah. This was a time when if a great rabbi was asked about a bat mitzvah, he would say, a bat mitzvah? Who cares about a bat mitzvah? We just want to celebrate the boys' simchas. But Reb Simcha was not like that. Reb Simcha realized that the future of the Jewish people lay in celebrating every bat mitzvah. So he went and spent Shabbos with his Rebbetzin at the bat mitzvah, but he told the mother of the girl, he said, I'll come, but I want you to do me a favor. I want you to make me a cholent for Shabbos. And she said, okay, I wasn't planning on making a cholent for Shabbos. My friends don't know what a cholent is. But if Reb Simcha wants me to make a cholent, I'll make a cholent. And so the day came, and Reb Simcha spent Shabbos in Santa Barbara. Such a Mesiras Nefesh. Shabbos in Santa Barbara. Beautiful boardwalk on the beach, but not so many synagogues. And so Reb Simcha was there Shabbos morning, and all of a sudden the bell rings. It's one of the guests who's not so observant about Shabbos. And they open the door, and the woman walks into the home where the bat mitzvah is being celebrated. And she takes 2 steps in the door. You know what happened, Adina? She took 2 steps into the door, and all of a sudden, she went like this, and then she fainted. She fainted. This is all true. A moment later, they revive her, they give her some cold water to drink. And she says, what was that smell? What was that smell? She said, that smell, I haven't smelled that smell, that cholent. It's been 40 years, 30 years at least, since I've smelled that smell. And she had forgotten. She was a child when the Shoah took place and her parents were taken away and killed, Adina. that she had blanked out her entire memory of what the Jewish life was like with her parents. She was raised as an orphan. She knew that she was Jewish, but she had no memory at all of what her parents were like. But when she smelled the fragrance of the cholent, she realized what she had forgotten. And it was that smell, Adina, that brought back her entire memory and restored her childhood, her memory of her parents, and it was all because of Reb Simcha. And the one thing you need to remember, Adina, is that so many people have taught us that more than the Jewish people have kept the Shabbos has kept the Jewish people. And you, Adina, as a young Jewish woman, your keeping of the Shabbos, when you begin your family, you'll imitate your mother, and your mother, her parents, and that's how the Jewish people are going to continue. And that's what we should be thinking about when we make havdallah. It's so important to have rituals in our family so that our children see how much we love the Shabbos. That it's difficult for us to say goodbye to Shabbos. Let's get some more lai lai lai, la 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 la. Tidai dai 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 dam. Tidai dai 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 dai. Once again. Tidai dai 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 dam. Tidai dai 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 dam. Everyone, this Adonai Tzevaos Imanu Oy miskavelanu Adonai Tzevaot, Ashrei Adam Botei Gavot, Adonai Hoshiyam, Hamelech Yaneinu Yom Gorenu. Everyone, Layudim, Layudim, Harisan, Mayoyena Vesifan, Visasaynemi Kawar, Neni Elayon, Oikos Yeshuayis, Kayesa, V'Shem Adonai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei b'rih v'yagavim. Everyone, la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu